Let's be honest. We all have that one food we can't resist. And for most of us, it's pizza. There's just something magical about that perfect combination of crust, sauce, and cheese that brings people together. And when it comes to getting that pizza fix delivered right to your door, one name has totally changed the game: Domino's. Today, I want to take you behind the scenes of this pizza empire. We're going to discover how they completely transformed their recipe after some pretty harsh customer feedback, and explore the incredible technology that gets your pizza from oven to doorstep faster than ever before. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at a pizza delivery box the same way again. The box that started it all. You know that familiar cardboard pizza box sitting on your kitchen counter right now? Well, you can thank Domino's founder, Tom Monahan, for that ingenious design. Back in 1965, he was dealing with a real problem. How do you deliver multiple pizzas without turning them into a cheesy disaster? His solution was the corrugated pizza box, sturdy enough to stack and smart enough to keep your cheese where it belongs. That focus on delivery wasn't just convenient, it was revolutionary. While other pizza places were content with customers coming to them, Domino's built their entire business around bringing pizza to you. And wow, did it pay off! By 2022, they'd actually overtaken Pizza Hut, their longtime rival, to become America's biggest pizza chain by revenue. We're talking over 20,000 stores worldwide now. The wake-up call that changed everything. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Domino's success didn't happen overnight, and it definitely wasn't without some major bumps along the way. Picture this. It's 2009, and Domino's decides to do something most companies would never dare. They ask their customers what they really think about their pizza. The response? Absolutely brutal. Customer after customer didn't hold back. They compared the crust to cardboard, called the sauce barely better than ketchup, and basically tore apart everything Domino's thought they were doing right. Imagine being in that boardroom, listening to hundreds of your loyal customers essentially saying your product is terrible. It had to sting. But instead of getting defensive or making excuses, Domino's did something incredible. They listened. In 2010, they threw out their entire recipe and started completely from scratch. I'm talking about rebuilding everything: new crust, reformulated sauce, premium cheese, the works. It was a massive gamble, but it's exactly what made them the pizza powerhouse they are today. Inside the pizza factory. So what exactly goes into making a Domino's pizza? Well, it all starts at their 25 supply chain centers scattered across the country. These aren't just warehouses, they're basically pizza ingredient factories where everything is prepared fresh and then shipped out to over 7,000 franchise locations. Let me walk you through how they make that famous dough. Picture an 800-pound vat, that's roughly the weight of a small car, being filled with precise amounts of oil, water, yeast, salt, and sugar. But here's where it gets mysterious. They add what they call ingredients from the goodie bag. Yeah, they're keeping some secrets, but that's part of what makes it special, right? A factory worker then hand mixes everything with an enormous whisk before adding flour and transferring the whole thing to an industrial mixer. This beast spins at 280 rotations per minute for 5 minutes straight until the dough develops that perfect texture. What happens next is pretty cool. The entire 800-pound vat rides up a 12-foot track and flips over, dumping all that dough into a machine that extrudes it out and slices it into perfect individual portions. These portions then go through a spinning machine that shapes them into perfectly round balls. The precision here is incredible because it means every pizza maker in every store can hand press the dough and get a consistently circular crust every single time. After passing through a metal detector, yes, really, quality control is serious business, robotic arms place the dough balls into trays. But here's something smart. Instead of freezing the dough, which would kill the rising process and ruin the texture, they chill it at exactly 39 degrees Fahrenheit for precisely 1 hour. This keeps the dough alive and ready to rise when it gets to the store. The sauce secret. For their revamped sauce, Domino's partnered with specialized suppliers who know their stuff. The process starts with massive 1,500-pound crates of premium tomato paste. We're talking serious bulk here. This paste gets broken down in a ribbon blender, then flows into a 1,300-gallon mixing tank where the magic happens. They combine the tomato base with salt, vinegar, and sweeteners, but the real star is their secret spice blend. Garlic, chili powder, basil, oregano, black pepper, citric acid, and even peppermint. After 5 minutes of blending and heating, you've got that robust pizza sauce that's 40% more herb-packed than the old recipe. It's then packaged into 32-ounce containers and shipped in refrigerated trucks to supply centers. The cheese journey. The mozzarella story is equally fascinating. Domino's works with suppliers like Leprino Foods, who are basically the royalty of dairy products. It starts with tanker trucks pumping 396 gallons of part skim milk per minute into enormous holding tanks. The milk gets pasteurized at 162 degrees Fahrenheit to kill harmful bacteria, then cooled down for the real cheese-making process. They add specific starter cultures, Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus delbrueckii, that feed on the milk's natural sugars and convert them into lactic acid through fermentation. This creates that tangy mozzarella flavor we all love. Then comes liquid rennet, an enzyme that reacts with the acidity to solidify the milk into curds through coagulation. After about 30 to 40 minutes, you've got this gel-like material that looks kinda like yogurt. Mechanical agitators slice through it, separating the curds from the liquid whey. And here's something cool. Instead of throwing away that whey like they used to, it now gets processed into whey protein powder that fitness enthusiasts use in their shakes. The solid cheese curds get pushed into a machine called a cooker stretcher, which heats them to 136 degrees Fahrenheit while continuously stretching and kneading them into one large elastic mass of mozzarella. This gets cut into rectangular blocks, then soaked in a salty brine solution for about 4 hours. This brining process stops further fermentation while adding flavor and pulling out moisture, leaving the cheese soft, springy, and perfect for melting on pizza. Pepperoni perfection. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite topping, pepperoni. Domino's works with suppliers like Hormel Foods, and their pepperoni is a carefully crafted blend of about 80% pork and 20% beef. The pork comes from shoulder and loins, selected for their marbled fat, which adds that hearty, savory flavor. The beef chuck adds a meatier taste and slightly tougher texture. The process starts with grinding the pork and beef blend in a large commercial grinder. But before any seasoning goes in, they add a specific strain of lactobacillus bacteria. This starter culture kicks off the fermentation process that comes later. Then comes the real flavor, a secret mix of salt, cayenne pepper, concentrated paprika, and fennel seeds that gives pepperoni that kick we all crave.
The seasoned meat gets pushed through casings to create those familiar pepperoni links, which are then hung on smoking racks and wheeled into a fermentation room. For 1 to 2 days, they're kept at 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 82% humidity. These conditions activate the starter cultures, which feed on the dextrose in the seasonings while blocking dangerous bacteria from developing. After fermentation comes the drying room, where the temperature drops to around 80 degrees Fahrenheit for about 60 days. During this time, moisture migrates through the casings, causing mold to grow on the surface. Don't worry, this is totally natural and part of the curing process. Once drying is complete, the mold gets rinsed off, the casings are stripped away, and the pepperoni is sliced into those perfect 2-millimeter rounds we're all familiar with.
From factory to your door. With over 3 million pizzas sold each day, those ingredients don't sit around long. Once a franchise places an order, everything gets loaded onto refrigerated trucks and delivered, usually late at night to avoid traffic and crowded parking lots. When you place your order, the magic really begins. That fresh, never-frozen dough comes out of the fridge and sits for several minutes to rise and reach room temperature. The pizza maker sprinkles cornmeal across their workspace to prevent sticking, then uses a 6-finger spinning technique to stretch the dough while forming that pencil-thin edge. Some pizza makers even toss the dough in the air for extra stretch. It's part skill, part showmanship. The sauce gets applied using Domino's patented spoodle, a cross between a spoon and a ladle that was actually invented by franchise owner Jeff Goddard in 1985 to speed things up during busy periods. The technique is to cover the dough in 3 circular motions or less, leaving about a thumb's width around the edges for the crust. Next comes 2 generous handfuls of mozzarella, scattered from the outer edges toward the center until only small patches of sauce peek through. Toppings go on in a spiral pattern, starting from the outside and moving inward, ensuring every bite gets a little bit of everything. The pizza then goes into a conveyor oven at 465 degrees Fahrenheit for about 7 minutes. When it rolls out golden, bubbling, and piping hot, it gets slid into that corrugated box Tom Monahan invented all those years ago, cut into 8 pieces and set aside for pickup or delivery. The delivery revolution. Domino's hasn't just perfected making pizza, they've revolutionized getting it to you. They created those iconic 3D car topper signs, the insulated heat wave bag that keeps your pizza hot, and they've experimented with everything from delivery drones to fully autonomous robots. They even built a custom car with a built-in oven that can carry 80 pizzas at once. In 2023, they introduced Pinpoint Delivery, which lets you get pizza delivered practically anywhere, the beach, a ball game, wherever you happen to be. It's this constant innovation that keeps them ahead of the competition. The bottom line. From a brutally honest customer feedback session to becoming the world's largest pizza delivery company, Domino's story is really about listening, adapting, and never being satisfied with good enough. They took criticism that would have destroyed other companies and used it as fuel to completely reinvent themselves. So, next time you bite into a Domino's pizza, remember, you're not just tasting cheese, sauce, and toppings. You're experiencing the result of decades of innovation, from that first corrugated box to the high-tech supply chain that gets your pizza hot and fresh. What's your go-to pizza topping combination?
Drop a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear what keeps you coming back for more.